You know, we see the stories about human trafficking all the time, that Houston is a major hub for human trafficking. But did you know human trafficking actually encompasses several areas of where a person is illegally exploited, not just for sex trafficking, but also for labor and for domestic servitude? The estimated numbers are eye-opening. According to a 2022 Global Estimates of Modern Slavery report, there are over 27.6 million reported global human trafficking cases in 2021. Of this number, 6.3 million were sexual exploitation victims, while 17.3 million fell under the private sector. This morning, we'll be talking with the leaders of an organization that's working to fight all forms of human trafficking. It's called United Against Human Trafficking. Tamika Walker is the Chief Executive Officer. Ken Henry is the Chief Communications Officer. Good morning to both of you this morning. It's a very interesting organization in that when you hear the name of it, United Against Human Trafficking. Tell me about your organization, how long it's been in existence, and what are your main goals?
Thank you so much for having us here today. I really appreciate it. So United Against Human Trafficking is a nonprofit organization that's been around since 2005. We were founded as a coalition where our focus was to bring folks together to combat human trafficking. We saw that there was a major issue in our city, and we wanted to make sure as an organization we led that effort. So a major piece of what we do is just uniting folks in the fight. And what that looks like is programming when it comes to just supporting survivors, also educating the community on the reality of what human trafficking is. There are a lot of myths and misunderstandings about what the issue is, particularly in our community. So we do our best to make sure that as an organization we educate folks on that.
So what kind of myth, for example, are people maybe confused about?
Well, I think particularly in this present day and time, and that that this is an issue that's international and that it's not actually here in our city right next door, right? So in all neighborhoods, all communities, we're being impacted by that. And so beyond the inner city, also in suburbia, everywhere. And so as an organization, we think it's critical to emphasize that we all can be a person that understands and is impacted by this issue.
Do we know how big this problem is in the Houston area?
I think that as a whole, as an organization, we know that there are victims based on what we do and the services we provide, but it's very difficult to put an exact number to it because it's such a hidden crime. Like I said, it's all throughout beyond human trafficking. As human trafficking, we talk about sex trafficking and labor trafficking. And so when you talk about industries, whether it's domestic servitude, whether it's construction, when it comes to sex trafficking, whether it's strip clubs or, massage parlors, it's a wide issue. And so when you're trying to pinpoint numbers, it's difficult to do that, but it is something that's impacting our community.
So tell me a little bit about what the day is like in any given day in the organization.
Well, it's adventurous and it's different every day because you have, especially with our organization, so we lead the coalition here in Houston, and we have like one of the longest running, if not the longest running coalition that's made up of different entities. So we have nonprofits, we have for-profits, we have survivor leaders themselves, people that have been have lived experience with human trafficking. And so, we're engaging daily with them. We have actual programming happening with our prevention teams going into juvenile halls, going into the schools to educate and talk about, some of those real issues that teens are facing as well, families are facing. We have case management, that we're having our clients, the ones that have been, recovered and coming out of the life now that are, sometimes still in the life, that are meeting, weekly with case managers to kind of have a life plan, an individualized life plan for them. So that looks different. And then you're talking about aftercare, now that they're thriving and doing well and, working and having their own apartments, but they still need that support and trying to help them wrap around and build community. So day-to-day looks different. And then you're talking about messaging, especially with the area I lead, with the communications, is making sure we're all speaking a unified language. Everybody, there's not misinformation going out there. Some of the things Tamika talked about as well.
So tell me about where you get the passion for this. Where does your passion come from to do this?
Well, I'm a social worker, so I've been doing this work for over 20 years, and what I mean by that is just really serving individuals who are impoverished, vulnerable. And so as a social worker, we're taught to meet people where they are, and so my passion is really built in how do I serve others to get them to where they want to be a travel companion, to know that that we could all be victims of any crime or people, all of us have suffered in some way. So my passion is about letting folks know I'm just like you, and there's no judgment, and I love you for who you are, and I want to see you for who you are, and I want you to be seen by me.
So I knew I liked you from the very beginning. My mom was a sociologist, and so I wanted to grow up to be just like her. I never could, but I appreciate the love and the place where you come from that. Yeah. We're going to continue more with Tamika and Ken after the break. We're going to talk about a call for action